Excuse me, everybody. Can I get everybody to find a seat? We're going to go ahead and get this started. The candidates, if you want to move forward to these front seats, just put this one step forward. There's bottled water in the ice chest, the Yeti back there. If anybody'd like some water, please get yourself some water. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Stevens County Candidates Forum here at Williams Valley Grange. My name is Dana Michie, and I have the privilege of serving as the moderator this evening. Assisting me is my wife Suzy. She'll be running the stopwatch to help us keep the forum moving and scheduled to ensure that everybody gets a fair chance to talk. I'd like to begin by thanking the candidates for taking the time to come here tonight and participate in this, and to thank the audience for coming as well, because the democratic process is how community remains strong. We have a lot of candidates tonight, and in order to give everybody an opportunity, we'll be following a format. Each candidate will begin with a 3-minute opening introduction. This is your opportunity to share what you're running about and a little bit about yourself, and if you're here representing somebody else, to read their letter. Following the introductions, we'll move into questions submitted by members of the audience. So if you're in the audience and you got a piece of paper, write your question down on that. Try to keep your questions concise. Just out of curiosity, how many audience members with questions do we have?
It depends.
Oh, we're going to go 4 questions in. Good. Well, okay, how about this? How many audience members do we have? Okay, so we have fewer audience members than we do candidates. So after each question is presented, every candidate for that particular office will have 2 minutes to respond. Suzy will provide you with a time warning to indicate when your time has expired. We ask all candidates respect the time, that everybody has the same opportunity to address all their questions. While we're not able to get to every question that's going to be submitted tonight, which we probably will with this few people here, I encourage the candidates just to stay afterwards and mingle and kind of get to know some of your constituents and answer any additional questions they might have developed even after everything was all over. Anyways, I think that's really about it. So let's go ahead and get started. And thank you all again for coming. But we're going to go ahead and start out with the 5th Congressional District. And we're going to start with Steve representing Baumgartner.
Thank you. First of all, good evening, and thank you, Dana, and the Grange for providing this building and this opportunity for democracy to occur. Michael asked me to say he's sorry he can't attend today, but he wanted me to read a statement, so I'll do so verbatim as was instructed. Today, Eastern Washington families are still being squeezed by high prices, federal overspending, and crime. In my first term in Congress, I have tried to keep my promise to show up, listen, secure the border, reduce taxes, and root out waste and fraud. There's more work to be done. I co-sponsored legislation to prohibit members of Congress from trading individual stocks and profiting from special knowledge. I voted for permanent tax relief for working families, and I will keep fighting for lower taxes, smaller government, and more freedom. I've also worked to deliver results for Eastern Washington. I helped pass the Farm Bill through the House for the first time in 8 years, including support for the Columbia Basin Project and our agriculture economy. I supported higher pay for our military, fought for Fairchild Air Force Base, helped increase funding for rural hospitals, backed historic support for Washington State University research, and supported what the American Cancer Society called one of the most impactful cancer-fighting bills in years. Whether you voted for me or not, I work for you. My office has answered more than 180,000 emails and phone calls, helped hundreds of people cut through federal red tape, and returned $3.8 million to local families. I grew up here. I went to school here, and I love this area. I will always fight for our values, work across the aisle when it helps Eastern Washington, and push to restore integrity and civility to Congress. I would be honored to have your vote. Thank you.
And what we have next is Andrew.
How we doing, Duke Park? Appreciate y'all having me out here. I'm a little different kind of candidate. Andrew Bartleson, better known as Bartleson for Congress. Steve, I'm not gonna crap on you because I know you're just a messenger here, but a lot of that is nonsense. Let's be real here. Michael Baumgartner has a master's degree in economics from Harvard. He knows damn well who pays tariffs. And he still never stood up and said, no, you're not gonna implement across-the-board tariffs. You wanna go along with the idea that the importer or the exporter is going to pay tariffs? No, importers pay the tariff, and the person that actually orders the importer passes it along to you. And not only do they pass the tariff along to you, but they increase incrementally. If they have a 10% profit margin, and you put a 10% tariff on it, that gets added to that. So we all pay more. So that's not true what he's saying. He doesn't stand up for us in that sense. Baumgartner's not dumb. I'll give him that. He's a very smart man. He did a master's degree from Harvard. But he's not being honest with us. I'm running for Congress because I want people to speak real truth to me. Whether I agree or disagree with you, I can respect you if you can talk to me and be honest. We're not all going to get along. We're all not meant to be friends. We're all meant to respect each other. The biggest problem we have going on in this country right now is the amount of hate that is being generated. These algorithms, the AIs, online, they're making us want to hate each other and point fingers at each other. Every time somebody gets a benefit, they want to make you think that because they got a slice of pie, it came off of your plate. But that is not the case. We are the United States of America. We have the biggest pie in the whole world. And we shouldn't be licking somebody else's plate clean like one of these billionaires just to get our taste. We deserve to have a great life. We deserve to be taken care of. Trickle-down economics has been a failure. It does not benefit us. It has been proven over and over. It is time for trickle-up economics, where we have a happy, stable, secure populace that is generating better revenues, better profits, and they benefit that way. But we get taken care of first, and then they can benefit from us. Not us having to just expect them to follow through with it trickling down to us, because it doesn't happen. Too many programs that are meant to benefit us, they always want to cut them and say, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. So they cry socialism when it's to benefit us. Why don't we ever hear that when we're giving the profit to these billionaire companies? We have endless money to go fund these AI data centers. We had it. It was $1.6 billion they gave for a tungsten mine in Kazakhstan. It's going to be operated by Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and the two Trump boys. We're paying $1.6 billion of our money for that. But when it comes to us, can't afford it. Now the debt matters when it comes to funding people. And that ain't right. We need to be taken care of. We need to make sure we're getting ourselves funded. No matter what it is. I don't live out in this county. I live in Spokane County. But you know what? I'm sure your needs and my needs are very similar to each other. And we need to make sure those are happening. Healthcare costs are crazy. Why is it that on average a family plan is costing $25,000 in premiums? Thank you. And yet, if you have to look at dental work, that's a separate plan you're paying for the dental care, out of pocket. Does not even count towards your $4,000 deductible on your health care plan. If you need eye care, it does not count towards your deductible. It's a separate plan. We need to have a total health care plan, not just a universal health care plan, but a total one. So you're paying one set of premiums. Thank you, Dan. That's good. Thank you, Bart.
I assume I'm up.
Yes, sir. Dana Mickey, and you're up next.
Thanks. Good afternoon. My name is Bajun Mavalwalla. Bajun rhymes with
Cajun.
Cajun. Mavalwalla rhymes with
Walla Walla.
Walla Walla, which is where I was today. I've been down in beautiful Waitsburg and Dayton. We're filming some television commercials, trying to get the word out in all of the different areas out there. I live here in beautiful Stevens County. Everyone knows where Waits Lake is at. Go up the dirt road, Little Sweden Road from there, about a mile up the road. I live in a log cabin. I heat the place with firewood I cut myself, and I've been living there for the last 7 years. So I am, as you know, running for United States Congress. And, oh, by the way, just in case you still have trouble with the name, just remember that Bajun Mavalwalla backwards is Alawab in the jab, so you have no trouble that way. The United States Congress representative. I want to go with that word, representative. They don't just pass legislation. They are to represent your district. Let's talk a little bit about this district. I'm a veteran. 26 years, 2 years in Iraq, 2 tours in Afghanistan. My first job in the Army, I learned Russian in the Army to fight the Soviet Union. That was my first job. Now, something else y'all might know is there are 40,000 Ukrainians that live in this district. Another 10,000 on top of that. And I communicate with them. I've been to Ukraine multiple times, including during times in Lviv under Russian rocket attack. Let me assure you, the Russians are not the good guys. All right? But you have to take a stand on that. And it's leadership. Leadership is the process of influencing others to accomplish the mission by providing purpose, direction, and motivation. And Michael Baumgartner is not providing that. If he was, I would stay up at my cabin and enjoy myself. But you have to represent the district. I'm in favor of a powerful, non-partisan military. You never use U.S. troops on U.S. soil against U.S. persons. Full stop. Is that liberal or conservative?
That's right. American.
Veterans' rights, okay? We honor the contract and take care of our veterans. We have 2 major VA hospitals out here, and we just canned 136 of our employees at the VA hospital in Spokane. Oh, get ready. So, I'm fixing to get ready. I'm happy to answer questions for y'all, but there's a lot more of those kind of things that I want to talk about that matter to the people in this district. Thank you.
I'm Richard Freudenberg. I am running for Congress as well, just as the others as have already identified. I graduated from Washington State University. I graduated summa cum laude at a 4.0 grade point average. I went to law school at the University of Washington. This was after 9/11, and ended up deciding to join the U.S. Air Force because I thought I wanted to serve my country, and I thought that was extraordinarily important. My country needed me. I answered the call. I served 8 years on active duty. While on active duty, I was deployed to Iraq. I was in Baghdad during the surge in 2007. During that time frame, I was responsible for detainee reviews. Detainee reviews are basically deciding whether or not we should recommend to the senior Iraqi officials whether or not we should release somebody from our custody. Then I was working on the prosecutions of insurgents, the individuals that were going out of their way to try to harm us and kill us. I came back to the United States. Actually, I went to the Alages field in the Azores Islands off the coast of Portugal, where I worked on international agreements and international relationships between the United States Air Force and Portugal. Because we have actually a major airfield in the Portuguese island that allows our fighters to cross the Pacific, or cross the Atlantic. It's extraordinarily important. Came back to Joint Base San Antonio. Joint Base San Antonio became the largest Department of Defense installation in the world. I ran the legal services for that installation. About 8,000 military personnel, 80,000 people, 130 to 140,000 students annually. I ran an office of approximately 102 attorneys, paralegals, and civilian support personnel. I decided after that I wanted to see my family because I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home, and 7 days a week does not really work very well for that. So I left active duty and I joined the Guard, the Washington Air National Guard, specifically at Fairchild Air Force Base. I became their senior attorney running their legal operations for all of Eastern Washington in the Guard in its entirety, both the Army and the Air, 80 to 100 people, for the next almost 14 years. I did that until I retired on May 1st, 2026 of this year to run for public office because I saw what was going on in the current situation. Our military members were being used and abused. We were being used in ways that we weren't designed, as Bajun already identified. That was never, I can tell you, federal court that I said that the use of military forces in California was unlawful. I can tell you the military knew that before we were even ordered to go out and respond to do that. It wasn't even a question. Military members take their oath to protect and defend the United States Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I believe in that, and I would say that every military member still holds to that, even if they didn't retire. I believe that very strongly, because we know what we're doing, and we understand what we're here to serve, and our citizens are not our enemies, period. So that said, I came to say we need to do something better. We can do better. In my position, what I think we need to be doing is healthcare for all, Social Security protection, because it's going to be cut in the next 6 to 7 years. I want to make sure that we've got protection for the rule of law, because right now that's in jeopardy, and our military members are being told to commit crimes, and I think I disagree with that entirely. And I'll talk to you more about it as I have more time. Thank you.
We have Matt Hayes up next. Matt Hayes.
I believe Matt had the bar exam practice today.
Okay.
I wasn't able to make it.
All right. Then up we have last is David Womack. All right. Okay. Moving on to 7th Legislative, we'll go ahead and start out with Ron McCoy.
Wasn't this an awesome week? Right here says everything. We live in a district that's small, rural, and it's my home. Kind of being here brings back memories. I lived up here, I'm gonna say a block, and down about half. Went to school 1st through 3rd grade here in Deer Park. When my brother came back from Vietnam, he bought the place, and then he built another one right up the street. So Deer Park is something special to me. To tell you a little bit about myself, first off, I'd like to thank you for inviting us. It's an opportunity to hear who we are, what we stand for. I've been married for 48 years here a couple weeks ago. Same beautiful woman that she was then and she is now. We have 6 children. We have 9 grandchildren. I retired from Safeway grocery stores. I retired from the United States Navy. You don't really retire because at any moment, if we're called back, that's where I'm gonna be. Not always in the best shape, but I'll make it. I'm sure they'll find a spot for me somewhere. Why I'm running is because I feel I can make a difference. In my community in Chihuahua, I was the city mayor for 4 years, city council for 3, served on many boards, state, county, and no federal ones. I didn't get that big, but I like to tell them a little bit about how we feel and how we operate in a rural county. You know, I have 7 siblings in my family. We have 7 counties in this district, and I plan on being in every one of them. They're going to get tired of looking at my face, but I'm going to be there. I want to hear their concerns. Being in the grocery business, that was our job, to serve and get them the product they need. State legislature, same thing. In the military, I didn't ask if they were R or D. I said, you cover my ass, I'll cover yours. It wasn't a political thing. We took that oath, we took it seriously. I want to keep the 7th district agricultural. We need to send a message to the other side. Yes, they may have the high tech, but we have the hands that built this. Without both of us, I mean, they can sit there and they can go, well, we send you a lot of money. Well, we send them a lot of product. Our farmers, our farmland, somebody talked earlier about the data, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't even put a sprinkler in our Chihuahua Park. Now, they want to put a data center in, which takes up a lot of time. I would appreciate your confidence and hope that you vote for me. I have a great counterpart too, but I wanted to do the job for you. I'm a public servant. Thank you.
Next up, we have Shelly.
It's so good to be here with all of you. I'm Shelly Short. I've had the privilege and honor of being your state senator since 2017 when I was first appointed. But my husband and I, we raised our 2 children in Stevens County. We've lived here for 31 years, and it has been a tremendous honor. You know, I first worked for George Nethercutt about 30 years ago, and what I didn't realize was what ignited in me a passion of helping and fighting and making sure that government was really truly being responsive to the needs of the people. And I've taken that into my position as state senator. I have, just have seen the weight of the people and the frustration about, state government trying to decide what's best for us, whether it's you as a family, a community, your local leaders. And I've been in it with you. And I think of all of the things that are going on, and state government is doubling down. They're doubling down, especially on those who are making their living from the land. And that's absolutely unacceptable. It's not necessary. I was at one of those meetings this morning with ecology, as a matter of fact. And it's really why I go to why I'm running. This district needs the experience that I provide to be able to continue fighting, whether you're fighting for families, for small business, for communities, and just so it's what we want it to be, not what they want it to be. I meet people every day, and I meet them where they're at. I meet businesses where they're at. And to me, it's about all of you. It's not about me in the position. It's about you and what I can do to help you. I work tirelessly to listen, to build relationships, to look for solutions, and really to find common ground, even if we agree to disagree. And there are those moments, but the building relationships, not caring who gets the credit, are really the ways that you advance things. And I feel like it's made me a better leader for the 7th Legislative District. I'll just say that I have extensive issue experience in agriculture, the natural resource agencies, wildfire risk, energy systems, electricity, and you just K through 12, healthcare. We need to make sure as a rural community that we have the ability to have what we need. And so you utilize those partnerships to make sure that you're advocating for those things. There's a lot more I could go into, but it's such an honor to be here with you tonight, and just look forward to the questions. And again, just thank you for the tremendous honor of being able to represent this district. Thank you very much.
We have Erika.
Hello, I am your Stevens County Prosecuting Attorney. I am running for re-election. This will be my 2nd term. In my 1st term, my biggest goals were trying to repair some of the damage that my predecessor did. We had a lack of, I would say, trust in my office. We were understaffed severely for a number of reasons. In my 1st term, I was able to hire, I think substantially, I've hired 4 different deputy prosecutors, all with 15 years or more experience. I have a fully staffed felony division for the first time since I've been here. In 2017 is when I started as a deputy, so, and I know they were understaffed before that. So for the first time in almost 10 years, I have a fully staffed felony division with all 3 of my attorneys having 20 or more years of experience prosecuting or in legal work. I've managed to recruit a law school graduate who just graduated within a year, but she lives here in Stevens County. She's committed to remaining in Stevens County, which has been a big problem of getting attorneys to want to practice and stay in Stevens County. The other thing that was a goal of mine was was to actually be in the office doing the work, because as a deputy prosecutor, I was expected to handle all of the work while my predecessor was in the office maybe once a month, if that, if I saw him once a month. I maintained a full felony caseload and at the same time maintained a full district court caseload because we were short-staffed. I've worked in juvenile while I've been here. In the last 4 years, I did 17 trials by myself. My office obviously did more, but I completed 17 trials on my own, including a murder trial for Stevens County, including a child predator, both convictions, both sentenced to significant prison time. So my goals continue to be to repair the damage that remains within, that my office did. It's no secret, we sued our commissioners to eject them. That really makes it difficult to work with your commissioners if your prosecutor is actively working to try to undermine you. I think that as a county we have work to do, but I think we've made big strides in repairing that relationship that my office has with the commissioners. So, thank you.
Up next.
Well, thanks for having us here this evening. And my name is Rick Johnson. I'm your Stevens County Assessor. Hold the booze, please. The reason I originally ran for Assessor is because I believe I received a word from the Lord to run. It is not the position that I would have chosen to run for. But when you hear a word from God, you better do it, because if you do it on your own way, it's not going to work. But I believe that God created this earth for the benefit of the people He created to live on it. And He created us to live and dwell on the land in order to make us prosper. True private property is key to our God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which this is a good year to be talking about this stuff. These rights are unalienable, which are God-given rights. They are, what I like to say, unalienable. It's a little different pronunciation, but private property is unalienable, and if there's a lien on that property that you yourself didn't put on your own property, it violates our God-given rights, as stated in the Declaration of Independence. So, this means that these rights cannot be taken away from us, yet they have been taken away from us. My hope is that this year, being the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, we will work hard to regain the rights our founding fathers fought for to give us. It will take a lot of work for we the people to get that job done. I'm running for Stevens County Assessor again because I believe government should treat every property owner with dignity, and every elected official should carefully spend each and every taxpayer dollar wisely to provide good service to our constituents, be accessible to every property owner, and keep our budgets to a minimum. For most families, their home is their largest investment and expense. For farmers, ranchers, business owners, and retirees, property represents years of hard work, sacrifice, and planning. Property rights are one of the foundations of a free society, and they deserve to be protected. As your assessor, I have worked to make it easier for property owners to understand their assessments and to let them know they are welcome to come to our office to appeal the assessment we made. If we make an error, we can fix it. Our goal is to give you prompt and respectful service. And so I would like to have your vote. I'm the only candidate running for this position. But I still need to have a vote. So thank you very much.
Yeah, just echo the thanks and appreciation. I was sitting in the front row, so I didn't get to see how many folks consider themselves primarily audience members. Do you guys mind raising your hands one more time? I'm interested in that information. Okay, better than in the past. That's good. So I would like to emphasize the nature of the office that I hold. I am your Stevens County Auditor. I've been in this role for 7.5 years now. And the Auditor's Office is a complex and professional office responsible for elections, recorded documents, vehicle and vessel licensing, and of course we pay all the bills, whether that's accounts payable or payroll on behalf of accounting operations. These things require knowledge, skill, experience, training, and the ability to manage people and complex problems. Most importantly, this is not an office that is an activist office in nature. This is an office that is the executive branch of government. We're going to remember our basic civics. And we uphold the law as written. That's what we do. That's what I do in my role. If there is a desired change in law, that is for Shelly or Michael or the people that would fill those legislative branch offices to carry it out. Some of the accomplishments that we've seen in my time in office, we have instituted self-service document searches for recorded documents. So our recorded document section of our office manages those transfers of properties. Folks now have the ability to self-serve and search those, get certified copies on their own. We've also instituted in our recording system a fraud notify program. A lot of folks have heard about deed fraud and are concerned about that. So we've put in place a tool that folks can self-select and sign up for in order to become alerted if there is a recorded document that bears their name or their parcel number. I'm also involved in the Property Deed Task Force group that is being facilitated by the Washington Association of County Officials, so a cross-affiliate group with other elected offices in all of our counties in Washington to explore further what we can do to protect property owners. I'm also the local elections administrator and have taken that role very, very seriously. We have increased our ability to have observers come to our elections. I've instituted programs with both political parties to encourage election observers to become trained and to come in to watch what we do. Let's see, in our licensing division, we will be opening one additional licensing agency than when I first came into office. So the Chihuahua sub-agency closed down about a year and a half ago due to an abrupt retirement. We'll be announcing very soon a replacement for that sub-agency. We also have a new sub-agency for licensing services in Caldwell. We've reduced wait times for that service by going to an appointment model, and appreciate the time. Would very much appreciate your vote. Did I get it done?
You did.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Dana, for having me. And thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak with you. My name is Eric Simpson. I am running for Stevens County Auditor. I've lived my entire life here in Stevens County. I was born and raised on a small family dairy farm west of Springdale. I married my wife in 2004, and we are now raising our 10 children near Chihuahua. I felt called to enter this race primarily because the evidence shows that we the people no longer determine the outcome of our elections, at the state level anyways. The steady stream of legislation coming from Olympia is strangling our farms, our local industries, our job opportunities, and ever increasing our taxes is a direct result of the fact that our lawmakers no longer fear being held accountable. For the past 5 years, I've been studying the numerous vulnerabilities incorporated into mail-in voting, and I've reached the conclusion that really the only means we have to reverse course is by taking action here locally. And that's why I'm committed to restoring transparency, community involvement, and verifiable results to our elections here in Stevens County. Now, for the sake of full disclosure, I do not have a college degree, nor a professional background in the various duties of auditor. In my 22 years of working in the workforce, I have witnessed many examples where education and or experience did not translate into job performance. It is far more critical to possess the humility to listen, the willingness to learn, the drive to excel, and the commitment to teamwork. And these are the qualities that I will bring to this position. Once again, my name is Eric Simpson. I'm running for Stevens County Auditor, and I would be extremely honored to have your vote. Thank you so much.
And up next is Mark.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna keep this short because I am not in not gonna be on District 1 ballots for the primary, but I wanted to come down here anyway and introduce myself. My name is Mark Burrows. I will tell you my short version of my life story. I grew up farming and ranching here in eastern Washington and eastern Oregon. My folks had cattle ranches. And so I grew up working hard. After I graduated high school, I enlisted in the United States Air Force, met my wife, LaVon. We've been married for almost 43 years now. We have 3 sons and 9 grandchildren, and they've been in our house for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so that's another reason why I'm gonna keep this short. And it's warm in here too. Anyway, I did 5 years in the Air Force, and I worked on fighter aircraft, or weapons systems of fighter aircraft, and pretty complicated systems. After I got out of the Air Force, I came back had to figure out where home was. If you've ever been deployed, you have to do that, right? And so Stevens County is my home. Wanted to come back here, set down some roots, worked in the woods for a while with some great people like Eric. Honest people, hardworking people. And then I had this opportunity to test for a police job for the city of Chewelah. So I tested, I think 33 of us tested for that position. I was selected for that. Ron McCoy was around back then. You probably remembered that.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. So I stayed there for 30 years. I retired as a chief of police there. I was the chief for the last 5.5 years of my career. And then something happened in the commissioner's office. It was pretty unsettling. Erika made mention of that a little bit ago. And I felt it was kind of like Rick felt called to stand up and run for the office and run again. That's how I felt about the commissioner's office. So I applied for it. Since there was no Board of County Commissioners, I was appointed by Governor Inslee. That was used against me in 2 prior campaigns, but that's not something that happens very often. For many, many years that had not happened where an entire Board of County Commissioners was unseated. Since I've been in office, it's been a pretty exciting time. Of course, right now we're building a Justice Center. That's been a pretty complicated process. We're scaling the Justice Center to the budget that we can actually afford in Stevens County. Appreciate the voters approving the increase in sales tax. How much time do I have?
18
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I just wanted to come down here and introduce myself. And my name is Mark Burrows, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Well, we're going to enter into the questions from the audience segment of this evening.
You kind of forgot me. I'm Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan. I'm sorry, Jonathan.
But it's fine.
And treasurer.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, the treasurer, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. We really don't want to go up there.
Well, thank you all for coming, being here, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Tony Graham. I am running for county treasurer. If you've met me, you know that this is not my comfort zone. I prefer to be at a desk working and solving problems, implementing and streamlining processes. That's where my comfort zone is. I've worked in the treasurer's office and I have worked in the assessor's office. I am right now Rick's chief deputy assessor, so I have a common knowledge of both sides, so I can fill that gap. I moved to Stevens County 9 years ago with my husband. I kind of followed him. He was here a year before I was. I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the people, and even though we don't always agree, you're my neighbors. We stayed, and so that was 9 years ago. I served in the United States Marine Corps, and as a Marine, I learned accountability, integrity, hard work, and taking care of the people around me. And I'm going to bring those skills and those values to the treasurer's office. Excuse me. I already told you I had the privilege of working in the treasurer's office, but in the assessor's office, we were 3 years behind on segregation when I started, and we are within a 6-month time frame right now. And that was by grabbing a great group of people that we've worked with and implementing a streamlined process to get that caught up and get it done. So when I stepped into the current leadership, well, I already just said that, sorry. I don't go off my notes very well. Running for treasurer, I believe the public service is about earning your trust. It's about competence, integrity, and treating people with respect. We don't know what those people are going through when they walk in that door, and when they leave, they usually leave, especially at the assessor's office, with a smile on their face, believe it or not. So that's my goal, to have that also at the treasurer's office. So first, I want you to know that your money is being managed responsibly, with transparency and with accountability. Second, I want every person that walks through the door to be treated with respect and kindness. Third, I believe county government works best when departments work together. I build positive relationships, I believe, with all of the elected officials right now, and I want to maintain that regardless who comes in or who stays. Four, and finally, I want to build a department that performs with excellence regardless who's in that office. That's very important to me, because we are all neighbors still, and it's worth remembering. So thank you. I appreciate your time, and I am unopposed, but I wanted you to know who I am. So thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Jonathan Waldrop. I'm running for the Stevens County Coroner's Office. I'm currently the Chief Deputy Coroner, been there for the last 3.5 years. I started with Ramona, who is the current coroner, and has decided not to seek re-election, so that's why I'm stepping in right now. A little bit about me. Gosh, I've been doing this for about 14 years. Probably a lot of you people are like, how could you be a coroner or be in that type of position for 14 years? But by golly, I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 14 years, and I love it. You know, it's not just a profession. It's about service and accountability and the compassion that I can bring to families. I deal with families in the worst times that they can possibly be in, and to me, being able to help people out, that's my calling. I started out as a autopsy technician. Did roughly over 1,000 autopsies. Changed over to being a medical legal death investigator. Then I got into the role of leadership, became an operations manager for the Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office. Been doing that in that role for about 5 years now. Handle day-to-day operations, long-term strategic goals, budget, multi-million-dollar budgets, grant opportunities, you name it. I oversee the entire autopsy division, medical examiners, investigators, and administration. So it's just it's a lot that I've done that I really appreciate the opportunity to even just be standing in front of you guys today. Now, with regards to the coroner's office, I've been doing it. I'm now the chief deputy coroner. Been doing it there for about 3.5 years, and I love this county. I live in Abbey, Washington, with my wife and 2 kids, and it's such a great and wonderful county to raise a family. It really is. And that's why I decided to stay, and that's why I decided to run for this position. We have really revitalized the entire coroner's office from the ground up. I'm completely got all revitalization. We are accredited nationally, which is a very tedious in all of itself. Only 45 jurisdictions across this entire nation are accredited, and Stevens County is one of those 45. We seeked a lot of grant opportunities. We built a lot of relationships back up. That was an important thing for our department when we first started. What's my time? How do I? That's it? I can talk about my college?
Yeah, in 10 seconds.
Okay, well, got a bachelor's degree in human development, fancy way of saying education, with minors in religion and business administration and med school. Okay. Thank you. No, I'm not running on folks. I just don't.
Okay.
I'm down here.
Does anybody need to get any water or use the restroom or anything? Yeah, let's go ahead and just take a minute break and we'll continue. Mavalwalla?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a question for you. It says, what does the rule of law mean to you, and how important is it that we, the citizens, follow federal, state, and local law?
Well, I'm sure what somebody's talking about is my son's case. My son was arrested on the South Hill of Spokane for nonviolently protesting against ICE by the FBI.
Against what?
Against ICE.
ICE, okay.
I want to tell you a little bit about what happened in that trial. He was acquitted of all the original charges. The jury found him not guilty of any of the original counts. He was not part of any conspiracy because he has never met, never communicated with, never been in any organization with any of the other people there. How did he conspire? Telepathy? My son served in Afghanistan, had a top secret security clearance, did cyber warfare, led people in combat, saved 40 Afghan refugees after the war, half of them minors, getting them passports, getting them safe passage, safe houses, medical care, and getting them down into Pakistan away from the Taliban. That's the kind of man my son is. Pam Bondi has gone through 4 acting U.S. attorneys. That's not rule of law. The current acting U.S. attorney is illegally appointed because he has not been confirmed by the United States Senate. That's rule of law. Another thing is that my son was convicted on a charge of aiding and abetting. Let's go back to telepathy. You cannot aid and abet a conspiracy if you are not part of said conspiracy because it requires mind reading. Telepathy doesn't work that way. That's not how rule of law works. I did rule of law. I was a police advisor for the Afghan National Civil Order Police in Afghanistan. I was the intelligence officer for the 49th Military Police Brigade in charge of all of the law enforcement in Iraq. I believe in rule of law. I also believe that you have rights under the law.
All right, next question we have is for Eric Simpson. It says, what do you think are the 3 most important statutory responsibilities of the auditor's office?
Well, number 1 would be the administration of elections. There's also the budgeting and financial aspects of it. Payroll, obviously, accounts payable. And the 3rd one would be, well, probably licensing of vessels and vehicles. And there's also the recording aspect of it as well.
That's it? All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Eric. We have a question for Rick Johnson. Can you tell us what our legal and lawful recourse is when our land is liened and stolen?
Liened by whom? Stolen by whom?
The IRS, Rick.
Huh?
The IRS sends out, a notice of lien, and somehow that becomes a lien, and then your property is sold to the highest bidder.
Right, well, the recourse, the number 1 would be pay it off. But the thing about the liens, as the assessor, the tax liens are issued by the treasurer's office, and I've got a good relationship with our current treasurer, and I've asked her to let me know when those happens. And since I've been in office, because I'm a certified financial planner, I've been able to go to the owners of these properties and work with them and make arrangements and get the things settled out so that they don't have to go through the entire foreclosure process. And we have saved 4 properties in Stevens County in my first term.
That's wonderful.
I just need to know about it, and then I just go to work with the training that I've had and try to help them that way. and I try to get the families together, so that the family can be aware of it and help out, and so that the property can stay, in the family and have a line of succession for inheritance. So that's how I try to do it. It's not the legal process, but it's a process that I've been successful at accomplishing.
Thank you.
Okay.
This question for Lori. Says, when did you file the South County CAFR for 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025?
Stevens County, okay. So this question is a question regarding the annual financial report for the county, so it refers to Stevens County. So in each of these cases, so 150 days after the close of a fiscal year for any governmental entity, they are required to complete and submit an annual financial report to the state auditor's office. We timely file each and every one of those years listed 22 through 25. So the exact dates for each of those, we usually shoot to hit submit on that. It usually is about a 3-month process to compile the data and information, verify it, audit it, go back to the departments and said, did you really have this grant fund come in this year, but it was actually expended in a different year? So we verify and walk through each of those required transactions that need to be disclosed in the annual financial report. And in each case, we shoot for 2 weeks early, so we have plenty of review time. But in every case, since I've been in office, we have filed by or before the deadline. And I'm hoping that was the question.
And yes, I believe it was. And then the next question, part of that question is, how are these accessible? Is there somewhere that they can go
So
look at?
they are accessible upon completion of the audit for the relevant year. So part 1 of that process is we submit the annual report. Part 2 of that process is the state auditor's office audits our government, top to bottom, side to side. They do some specific testing on what they want to look at in any given year. Once that audit process is finalized, then it is published on the state auditor's website.
All right, I think that's it.
I hope that was it.
That sounds good, thank you. All right, next question is for Rick Johnson again. And it's, Rick, would you tell us about the new senior exemption?
The new senior exemption was passed by our state legislature this past session, SB 6162. It increases the limits as far as your income goes. Currently, for the current year, any income 45,000 or less, you can qualify. Starting with this assessment year and next tax year, it'll be $58,000. And one of the things that was included in that is you can have deductions, for medical expenses, pharmaceutical goods, and things like that. But a lot of our seniors don't have all of those receipts, and it's a very time-consuming thing for our office to try to get all of that. So they put in a standardized deduction for $7,500. So if you have $60,000 income and take that $7,500 deduction, well, you're down to $52,500, you would qualify. We expect that all of the citizens that are currently on the program, most of them will be taken down to a level 1, which is the best level and the highest tax rate. And it will probably qualify a good percentage more in the years to come. So it's quite a good situation for our seniors, and a lot of times the tax foreclosure things hit the seniors, because the people that we saved the homes for, all of them were seniors. So that sounds like it.
Is there any more questions from the audience? Well, with this being done this early in time, I'm going to encourage it just to be mingling and asking questions directly of your candidates as you see fit. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.